Okay, so welcome, Dr. Gettings.
Yep.
I was just going to congratulate you on your award. If you want to talk about that, what the award was for, if it was through the district.
Yeah, that's a great question. So thanks for having me, first of all. So in Kansas City, we have what's called the Greater Kansas City Principals Association, and really what it is all the principals and assistant principals around the Kansas City metro area are part of the association, and we come together periodically throughout the course of the year and just talk about schools and what people are doing and how we can do things better and kind of just network together. And so that's what that organization is. And towards the end of every school year, they have a couple of different awards they give out that the membership votes on. And so, that is what that award was. And so I'm honored to have a chance to receive that award, and I really appreciate the Greater Kansas City Principals Association and what they do for all of our schools in the metro.
That's fantastic. We're very, very proud of you here at South. So I wanted to ask you a few questions regarding your first year in this position. What made you decide to be a principal here at South?
Well, so first of all, I guess a little bit about me. This is the only place I've ever been. Blue Springs South. I started here as a teacher and a coach back in 2002, and so South is near and dear to my heart. I bleed blue and green, and I think it's the best place in the world to be. So what kind of pushed me into the administrative side is just the challenge of being able to lead. We're all leaders in some way, but being able to lead from that capacity as an administrator a few years back. So I decided to do that, and it's just a different part of education and a different way to connect to kids and staff.
That's fantastic. Now, did you have anything that you prepared for specifically for this job? Did you know kind of in advance that you're going to be getting it, or the interview process, was it like lengthy, super short? What that?
So I didn't do anything really in advance. It was a situation where Dr. Belt was moving into a different role, and so there was an interview process that went forward from that. But I never got into administration to be a building principal or any of that other stuff. I've never really operated like that. I just do what I think our school needs, and the chips fall where they may. And so if this is the last position I have in education for the rest of my career, I'm totally okay with that. But it was where I kind of learned how to do the job maybe is really from Dr. Belt and watching him over the last 8 or 9 years. I worked pretty closely with him, and so that was probably the biggest influence for me in regards to getting ready for this position.
What hardships or adjusting did you have to go through, especially towards the beginning, transitioning for your first year?
So I think the biggest thing is when you're an assistant principal, you're part of the alphabet. You have teachers that you work with directly, and then you have usually some part of the school organization that you manage and work with. And so when you move into this role, then you have the overall view of all of that stuff, and so you're kind of connected to all of those pieces by working with the assistant principals in those different areas. But then you also, you got to think about what does it look like for us down the road as a school, right? Both for our kids and our staff. And so probably the biggest difference, the biggest thing that is been challenging for me is to keep my eyes focused on the bigger picture. It's real easy to want to revert back to being an assistant principal and handle that day-to-day, whatever it may be, but that's what we have assistant principals for, and so that's been kind of a learning curve. But we also, with that, try to hire good people and let them do their job, and for me to get out of the way and let them do their job, right? So that's been a big piece. And just, in today's world especially, it's really critical and important for me that our kids get a great opportunity at Blue Springs South to explore whatever is next for them, so that they have opportunities when they leave South and go out into the real world. So that's really important to me. And then our staff, this is a great place to come and teach and grow as an educator as well. So those are things I think about every single day.
Yes. With the hardships, there's also favorite parts. So if you want to talk about like your top favorite thing that you've been able to do this year as a principal.
I tell you that the greatest thing that I get to do as a principal are really two things. One, I get to be in and out of classrooms and watch our teachers teach and watch our kids interact with teachers. And then the second piece is getting an opportunity to watch our students go out and perform, whether it's athletics, in theater, in choir, band, whatever it may be. Just getting a chance to watch our kids do that is really, really cool. And even things like Mr. Jaguar and all those other stuff that we get to do as a school, just getting a chance to watch things outside the classroom, I think is really neat.
Yeah, so I actually talked to some of the kids about some of their favorite parts about the transition and you being our new principal this year, and a ton of them just talked about how much your morning announcements every morning are just like a nice reminder, especially if, it's like 7 a.m. We're like, we got like 8 more hours of the day left, to just kind of be pulled out of our own mindset where it's kind of very centered and just kind of think about, again, a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And so what gave you the idea to start doing those?
Yeah, well, I'm glad, first of all, I'm glad to hear that because I wonder, about that. And I try to think about the right things to say, and sometimes it's just right to do the pledge and get going. But if there's other times that things come on my mind or in my heart, I'm like, I want to just express this to our kids, right? And so it is the one moment, I guess, of the whole day, for the most part, that I get a chance to talk to all of you guys for a brief 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? And I could go on forever, but I know I don't have that time. So it just kind of really fell into place. I was thinking about ways that I could connect with our school, and that's one real quick way every morning, just to say, hey, I got you. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Here's a couple of things to think about through your day besides what you have to do anyways, going through all your classes. So that's kind of where that really came from.
Perfect. And finally, I was just curious on what your goals are for the students, for the staff, the future of it, and if you have any advice for any of the students or staff here at South.
So I think the big goal is, in this being a first year, it's kind of one of those things where I've seen a lot of things, right, as we've gone through my first year as a principal, and so I've got a list of things that I feel like, okay, these are things that we need to do better as a staff and as a school, and so we'll work with staff and students to make those things better. I think the big piece that will always stay in front for us is, what can we do to provide for our kids, our students, the very best opportunities for them to experience whatever their dreams are? So if it's going to college after high school, or if it's going into the workforce, or wherever it may be, we want this to be an absolute essential, wonderful thing for them to do, to have an experience with, so that they can make that next step, whatever it looks like, right? So just continuing to think about that, and making sure that our programs and what we're doing is aligning with that is a big piece. And that's that vision part that we kind of talked about, is, where can we continue to expand those opportunities for our kids and our staff. And then the other thing you asked on that was
just any advice for the students.
Well, I think the big piece of advice that I would have for our students is really two pieces. The first one is, your education is absolutely important and is critical. And what education does is it allows you to have opportunities that you may not otherwise have. And high school is important because it kind of sets the stage, and it gives you an opportunity to set the stage for things past high school, right? And so if we can continue to impress on our students how important education is, and it sets them up for great opportunities post high school, then that's a big piece. The other part of it is, and it kind of goes back into the core values that you've heard us talk a little bit here and there: people first, growth, compassion, empathy, respect, right? Living a life that's geared around those things, I think is important. And so if, as a young high school student, that I can at least make you think about those core values a little bit and what it means for you in your life, and you can put that together with how important education is, then I think we're headed in the right direction.
Yes, I know I personally very much appreciate it. Even having JAG TV, being able to, again, find that part where I was like, broadcasting is really something that I'm passionate about and I can move forward in. Without this class, I never would have been like, oh, broadcasting is something that I find very, very interesting and something I'd want to make a career out of. So I think all of the opportunities, especially here at South, are incredible. So we really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And we've got, Mr. Grigsby and others, our staff do a great job of providing those opportunities. And you're exactly right. That's one of the big pieces, is what can we continue to do to provide opportunities like this for kids, students, young adults, as they connect into whatever may be next for them. So
yes, perfect. Thank you so much for your time and allowing me to interview you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, well done. Nice job. Great job. Great question.